Hello and welcome to another update. In this one, I'll be covering most of the front line as the Russians are intensifying their attacks. Starting out in the north around the Luhansk front, the Russians are attempting to advance towards the direction of Berestove as well as Telmaivka as they try to create their defensive position across the river line. Further south in the direction of Dubrova and Bilohorivka, there's a lot of intense fighting ongoing around Dubrova specifically, as the Russians are trying to expand their zone of control in every direction by pushing back the Ukrainian forces. Specifically, there's a lot of small arms fighting in the forested area. As for Bilohorivka, the Russian forces are continuing their attempts to take control over the village. In the direction of Soledar, there's a lot of fighting ongoing here as well, as Russians are now attacking from 4 different directions, from the south, southwest, and from 2 directions from the east. As for Pitorodne, the Russians are continuing their attacks in both directions, as well as an attack straight on Pitorodne. And as for Bakhmut, the Russians are also intensifying their attacks by attacking from 3 different directions to the east. They are also continuing their attacks in the southeast, as well as in Opytne. As for Klashchivka, the Russian forces are also continuing their attacks in this direction as they are trying to expand their zone of control to the north of Klashchivka, as they wanted to advance towards the village of Ivanivske to cut off the highway between Ukraine and its supplies and reinforcements. We can see that by the fact that they are now by the canal to the west of Bakhmut and are trying to hold their positions here, as a control over this area would allow them to establish fire control over the road. As for the Kurdyomivka direction, the Russians are continuing their attacks in the direction of Delivka, as the Ukrainians are continuing their attacks in the direction of Kurdyomivka. Moving to the Avdiivka area, the Russians have started an attack against Kamyanka, as well as to the south of Avdiivka, where they're trying to establish control over this southern area of Avdiivka. The terrain is very complicated in this area. However, it looks like there's a few residential buildings here to the south and outside the city. In the direction of Krasnohorivka and Marinka, the fighting is ongoing as the Russians are intensifying their attack, specifically in Marinka, where they are attempting to continue their advance in the village. And finally, as for the Zaporizhzhia front, the Russian forces have started an offensive in the direction of Doroshenka, where they are trying to establish some sort of buffer control or take control of Doroshenka, as they are attempting to possibly establish fire control over this highway that connects Hulyaipole with the western area of the Zaporizhzhia front. If you like my content, please make sure to check out my video. I did a collaboration with History Legends. Here's a taste. So he's from the UK.
It already starts bad. It already starts bad when he says spring offensive. Okay.
Link will be in the description as well as in the comments. Anyways, that's it for this update. Thank you all for watching and have a great day.